Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the West Coast. CEBL preseason action right here on CEBL Plus and YouTube tonight, presented by Tony Bet. Come on in, everybody, and welcome inside Langley Event Center. I'm Chris Wiggins. Thank you for joining us tonight. Lots going on here tonight. Preseason is just heating up. This is preseason game number 2 for the Vancouver Bandits, taking on the Sikh Warriors tonight here at the LEC, just outside of Vancouver, BC, in Canada. And for those joining us on YouTube, Season 7 is just around the corner for the CEBL, and things are already starting to heat up across the league. For the Vancouver Bandits, they came up one possession short of a championship last season in Montreal, but most of the hype this offseason surrounding the signing of basketball content creator and social
up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra. Work with me, you know that I got it. Come with me, let's take a trip to the islands. We up on the jet, we'll do more than just fly on it. Stand on that hill, you gon' die on it. Boom. Baby, I'm not one of them, you should try on it. Miss me with all that, I'm on it and next. Whip this up, I send you back to your ex. But good luck with that, this is big as it gets. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. Give them a name to remember. Hey, let's see how you do.
What keeps me going? Under the heat of the sun, or in the heat of the moment. When climbing for even one more second seems like too much. Whether you're reaching for your goal or busy setting new ones, everyone hits their limit, but that limit has a reset. Scientifically formulated to hydrate faster in the moments that matter. Electrolyte, instant hydration.
We've made a commitment to Championship Weekend again in 2025 in Winnipeg. I think you'll see the biggest and best Championship Weekend to date.
At Cal Tire, we know winter can be tough on your car. So springtime is alignment time. Saving you fuel, saving your tires. With precise alignments. Learn more at caltire.com.
Both sides. So Cheryl, what are the main factors each team needs to focus on tonight? First, for the visiting Sikh Warriors.
Well, for the Warriors, they want to be able to make their mark. You know, this is a great opportunity, first Punjabi pro team to be able to play against a CBL team. So this is a moment of history in the making. Home crowd Warriors, there's a lot of familiar faces like you mentioned, and so we're excited to see some local products, UFE players, you know, guys that have been a part of this community, and their community is here to support them, and obviously playing for keeps. Everybody is competitive. It's going to be really fun to see who makes their mark on the stat sheet first.
Can't wait. And for the Bandits, the home squad.
Well, for the Bandits, on your mark. Like, this is the beginning of the preseason. It's not a regular season game, but from a coaching staff's perspective, let's see if our style of play fits who we have. One more, that's been his comment that Coach Kyle Julius has used throughout the preseason. One more play, one more board, one more shot, and obviously throw them in the fire. Let's see some of these young guys, see what they can do. New faces, new team, but yet still the same soul, which comes from the head coach, so we'll see what they do with that.
Chess match, checkers game, whatever you want to call it. Head coach and GM Kyle Julius, the tactician. Early looks at the lineup this year, but first up, let's look at the starting lineups presented by Tony Bet for the host Vancouver Bandits. Of course, Bandits are starting out with number 1, Isaiah Brockington, number 5, Mike Nuga, number 8, Tyrese Samuel, number 24, Kyle Mangus, and number 55, recently announced, Mitch Creek, returning to Bandits basketball. And for the Sikh Warriors, you have number 2, Vic Tour, number 4, AJ Bassi, number 6, Vic Gill, number 9, AJ Singh, and rounding out, you have Jaden Narwhal, number 11, and of course the Sikh Warriors, coached by Sukhveer Singh.
A lot of representation there from local universities, Canadian universities. Sukhveer Singh and I, not to date each other, but we both played in the late, we'll say 1990-somethings. University of Manitoba, University of Winnipeg. So it's great to see some familiar faces. Basketball community is all together here.
Yeah, you can see a lot of people coming out to support both squads tonight. And some people coming up over the border as well. A little bit of U Sports, NCAA exports on the Sikh Warriors. And Cheryl, for the Bandits, there's a feel-good story in our midst. Who's tonight's player to watch that you're going to be looking for? Tonight's player to watch, presented by Tony Bet.
Well, Tristan Jass, obviously. T-Jass, if you haven't seen any of his clips, go and look, dealing with trash talkers, in playground hoops. So this is a little bit different. Played his first game the other day representing the Bandits, a little bit of a youth sport kind of team that they were playing against. but we're starting to move closer and closer to the regular season. 28 points, had a phenomenal first quarter, 5 from the three-point line, but now we're going to start with the scout, how the other team is going to play him, knowing what he can and can't do, and we'll see how he makes those adjustments.
And for Tristan Jazz, wearing number 4, he's got some friends and family in attendance, his grandparents here. We're just moments from tip-off, presented by Spalding, the official game ball of the CEBL. And tonight we have Matt Goebel as your crew chief, fellow officials Trevor West and Jackson James. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. And for the Bandits this year, kind of their second game of action. They played a school day game earlier this week, Cheryl. So a little bit of tread before the regular season starts for them on May 15th.
Well, you know what's really fun about that game, 4,000 screaming elementary school students really starts the energy going for the Bandits. And so here we are kind of taking that next level. Instead of playing university guys, now former, many pro players, you know, the basketball tournament roster here. So these guys are coming in with pro experience now, and so we'll see how the Bandits do kind of leading up into the regular season.
Dedicated to the community as always. It's year 7 of CEBL basketball, 10 teams across the country. And you know what? No better way to spend your Saturday night. We got tip-off right here. Tyrese Samuel wins the jump. Here's Creek. Spent about half the season with the Bandits last year. Set a new playoff single game high. Here's Mangus. Up to the rim. Floater doesn't go. Rebound goes to Bit Gill. Bassi. Into Gill. Backdoor cut. That's a nice play. Victor looking right at home. The UFE Cascade getting us on the board, Cheryl.
You know, a lot of this is going to be familiarity. Which team is obviously more comfortable playing with each other right now, and so the Sikh Warriors, in that sense, have a little bit of an advantage. So we'll see how the Bandits, and that's a great way to get yourself going as well, knocking down the first open look.
Mike Nuga, a couple years of CBL experience already, coming out of Toronto, UNLV alum, getting them on the board. And here's Tour once again. Crafty, get into the rim. Got to check the scouting report on him. That's a blow-by.
You know, if you're Coach Kyle Julius, one of the statements that you wanted to make with that one more mentality is the defensive stop. So far, they've given up 2 pretty easy scoring looks off the back cuts and looks, so we'll see if they can dig a little bit deeper this time down.
Bassi operating with a rock over to Gill. He's played some 3-on-3 ball for Team Canada. 3 doesn't drop. Here's Nuga. Over to Brockington in the corner. The southpaw 3 doesn't go.
It's a good scoring look, and again, you know, the little things that coach are going to celebrate. Getting the open man open. One more is also that one more pass, finding the open shooter, but we'll see as the ball kind of reverses around here, see if they can find that open scoring look. And again, that left-handed side has been a key scoring look. All 3 scoring looks coming from that side of the floor, so we'll see if the Bandits can make some of the adjustments on the fly here.
We were talking about in the pregame show, that's an offensive foul charged against Mitch Creek, clearing the way with the elbow. This isn't just a team of your standard Pro-Am squad, Cheryl. This Sikh Warriors team, they participated in the basketball tournament, TBT for short. They're here to make a point, and you know what? When you have some friends in the crowd cheering your name, they're going to try and take it to Vancouver tonight.
You know, similar to when we see CBL athletes that are fighting and vying for summer team opportunities and, you know, G League contracts, everyone is working towards something, and wouldn't it be great to see one of these players on a CBL roster as well? So all of these players know that these are opportunities that they have to showcase what they can do on and off the floor, offensively and defensively. It's a great way, and you know what? One of the things that Bandits fans are going to realize very quickly is that Mitch Creek makes everyone else better. Great way of, you know, going from an offensive rebound or offensive foul, the last sequence, as a high post jumper there. It's made by the Sikh Warriors, but Mitch Creek creates, and one of the comments that Coach Kyle Julius said is that maybe he might playing a little point guard himself this year, so his ability to get other people going is going to be a key part of their offense.
Here's Tour, the guest. The Sikh Warriors up by 1 right now, 8-7, but that's stolen away by Samuel. Looks to take it himself. Here he goes all the way to the rim with the sledgehammer. Tyrese Samuel calling his own number.
Okay, great. And for those not familiar, the Flames are something that the fans want to see a lot of this year. Big shots, big dunks.
Nice touch at the rim. AJ Singh, couple times going into traffic. AJ Singh coming out of Cupertino, California. This is a team comprised of Americans and Canadians. And Creek, he's going to take a three. Doesn't go. Big Gill. Strong board. Tour played his college ball at UFV the past couple years. Coming out of Kent, Washington. Here's Gill. Tour's also a lefty. Sizing up Creek. Into the post. Nice move, doesn't go. Rebound goes to Samuel. Inside of Samuel once more. Feeding the big man. Look at that pivot foot work. Great ability, Samuel, will get into the hoop, Cheryl.
You know, we talked about this a little bit in the pregame, you and I. We were talking about the size and how that was going to use. Right now, the Sikh Warriors are playing a 5-out offense, not really nice scoring look inside. These guys are just trading baskets right now, which, again, we talked about preseason basketball, and sometimes you're figuring out one side of the floor a little bit more than the other. But how they're going to defend certain styles of play is also going to be some of the questions that Coach Julius wants to find out in preseason. Are they going to struggle with 5-out? Are they going to have to be able to manage the big men inside? You know, you've got 2 or 3 guys that love posting up here from the Sikh Warriors, so that's definitely something that they're going to have to figure out how to manage. Here's
Brockington quickly up to Mangus. You can imagine that's going to be a connection we'll see frequently this season. Quick pass. Here's Bassi. He's going to take a three, doesn't drop. Up the floor, Nuga to Creek. Has to hold it, swung over to Brockington. 2 hands for safety, Isaiah Brockington, and Flames for good measure.
That's a great cut. Great cut to score there.
Bandits retake the lead, 13-12. You're watching CBL Basketball live on YouTube and CBL Plus, powered by TonyBet.
We are live from the beautiful city of Montreal. Game of the week featuring the Blackjacks from Ottawa taking on the Alliance from Montreal. And we're going to have such a great time tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Why? The tension is party here in Montreal. You talk about adrenaline and emotions, and the heart is just pounding. Gives it up. Quick three. I'm on the way up. Going all the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. Going all the way up.
Yeah, I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra. Work with me, you know that I got it. Come with me, let's take a trip to the islands. We up on the jet, we'll do more than just fly on it. Stand on that hill, you gon' die on it. Baby, I'm not one of them, you should try on it. Miss me with all that, I'm on it and next. Whip this up, I send you back to your ex. But good luck with that, this is big as it gets. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. Give them a name to remember. Hey, let's see how you do.
Welcome back to Langley Event Center, everybody, on YouTube tonight and CEBL Plus, presented by TonyBet. I'm Chris Wiggins. Vancouver up 3 in the early going so far. A lot of new faces across the league this year and a lot of high-level talent from the NBA's G League. Only about 5 returning players here for the Vancouver Bandits, and one of the big signings this offseason was G League player and Canadian Tyrese Samuel. He's 6'10" out of Montreal. Tyrese has established himself as a top Canadian product, and he's done so very quickly. 3 years at Seton Hall, with his final year of college as a starter with the Florida Gators. He's coming off his first season with the G League, suiting up for the Phoenix Suns affiliate, the Valley Suns. He's taking over that rim protector in the paint role from the Warden, Nick Ward, who many Bandits fans know very well. Tyrese can also step back, though. He can hit the open shot. He'll spread the floor nicely as a three-point threat. And I chatted with Tyrese. I said, what's different about you this year? How are you going to get this team across the finish line. He said, my strength, my athleticism, and my ability to affect the game above the rim, I'll just let everything else fall into place. And we've seen him above the rim already a couple of times tonight. Look forward to watching Tyrese this season. Andrew, back to you.
Thanks so much, Chris. Back and forth they go. The Sikh Warriors, that was a nice J from Jazz Bajwa, as returning in kind is Isaiah Brockington. Bit of a firefight here early, Cheryl. Lots of offense.
Well, Grant Shepard has checked into the game here, and we have Sam Maé, who's going to be checking shortly as well. You know, one of the challenges for CBL fans that are new to the game is how coaches are managing their roster in the CBL. Obviously, only a certain number of import players can be on the floor at some time. So, you know, sometimes as fans are watching, as our player to watch, T-Jazz, is checking in as well here, coaches often have to manage the roster based on how many domestic versus how many import players they have on the floor at the same time. So always having to look at who you have on the floor. Mitch Creek, obviously, Australian, great addition to our team. And we'll kind of see what happens here with, again, the number of Americans versus the number of Canadian players on the floor.
As we watch here, you have to keep in mind that you could win a 2025 championship weekend experience in Winnipeg, courtesy of Neo. Enter now as Kyle Mangus. He wants to be at championship weekend. But if you enter now by purchasing a CEBL ticket with your Neo credit card on cebl.ca/Neo, you can sign up now and get a $25 bonus that you could potentially spend at championship weekend. It's going to be hosted at Winnipeg downtown. Great spot to be. And you know what? The Sea Bears, they have flirted with the playoffs the past couple years. They'd love to go to the finals, and you could be there with Neo. Victor with a recent layup in the paint.
Well, the few minutes left here in the first quarter, you know, the ball's been moving fairly well for both teams, trading baskets. 22-19 is our score right now with, 2.5 minutes left in this first quarter. And, the Bandits have been getting the looks that they want. They haven't been getting the stops that they want, so that's going to be something I'm sure Coach Julius is going to talk about in the quarter break.
AJ Bassey comes up short. Here's Sam Maé, pride of Moncton, New Brunswick, coming off a Final 8 championship MVP as the UVic Vikes. Won nationals. And Grant Shepard, also a national champ, can't get the layup to go. Mangus with the strip. Quickly to Maé. Alone in the paint. That one goes through contact. Sam Maé, talking to head coach Kyle Julius before this one, Cheryl, sees the potential room for Maé's role to grow this year.
Well, we talk about the difference between last year and this year. There's so many differences. Where do you start? So with a player like Sam Maé, new to the program, new to the pro league, he's playing with someone who understands what it takes to win at this level now. And so excited to see, first scoring opportunity. He finishes at the rim. It's going to be so much fun to see his offensive game continue to develop because we all know that he can play defense.
Mangus misses the layup point blank. The Warriors down 5 right now. A result they're probably happy with, hanging around with the reigning runners-up for the CBL title in the Vancouver Bandits. Great crowd here on a Saturday evening. Bajwa to the rim. Tough bounce pass gets taken away by Brockington, leading the break. Over to T-Jazz, and T-Jazz on the board. He had 18 in the first quarter a couple days ago, Cheryl. He's on the board tonight with an easy lay.
Well, in that game, you're knocking down 5 for 5 from the three-point line, obviously feeling that shot. Love the fact that he's getting movement scores. Something that Coach Julius talked about was the kid works hard. His understanding of systems is kind of where he needs to develop. So his ability to move off the ball, find that scoring look off of a cut is a great way for him to demonstrate that he can help this team win games.
Tristan Jazz coming out of Wisconsin. Coming up Indiana is Kyle Mangus. He misses that 3. Back to Tristan Jazz. Adept at the 3 and adept at getting to the rim. That one doesn't go. Grant Shepard fighting for it. But T-Jazz gets it back to Shepard. And there's the highlight. Bounce pass in the finish. Two-handed flush for the big man out of Kelowna.
You really could have tried to go back up with that one. Great read on that. Draws the defender, finds Grant Shepard, and again, finds different ways to get everybody involved. And that's really what the guard play is going to have to be for the Bandits this year.
Going all the way in. AJ Singh, he's gone to the paint a few times. Full court heave. Good if it goes. Grant Shepard giving us a little bit of theater. That one doesn't drop, and that's going to be your first quarter score. 28-19 for the Vancouver Bandits over the Sikh Warriors. You're watching CBL Basketball Live on YouTube and CBL Plus. powered by Tony Bet.
At Cal Tire, we're here to drive the best value around with free rotations, price match, 0% financing, and free flat repairs. We take care of it all for the life of your tires. Chat with our team at caltire.com.
Fasten your seatbelt tonight. We're going to have some high energy and some high flying stuff.
All the drama, all the excitement, all the fun. Pull up to a CEBL game this summer. Get your tickets now at CEBL.ca or on the CEBL mobile app. And hey, get 15% cash back when you pay with your NEO credit card when buying tickets at CEBL.ca/NEO.
Pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra. Walk with me, you know that I got it. Come with me, let's take a trip to the islands. We up on the jet, we'll do more than just fly on it. Stand on that hill, you gon' die on it. Boom. Baby, I'm not one of them, you should try on it. Miss me with all that, I'm on it and next. Whip this up, I send you back to your ex. But good luck with that, this is big as it gets. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. Give them a name to remember. Hey, let's see how you do.
Welcome back to the LEC Langley Event Center just outside of Vancouver, British Columbia. The Vancouver Bandits up already on the Sikh Warriors. I'm standing here with Tristan's grandparents, Bob and Kathy, Bobcat to their friends back in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Welcome to British Columbia. What are your thoughts on the league and Tristan's performance so far?
He's done fantastic, but I'm not surprised.
We know Tristan well on YouTube and social media and all that stuff. What kind of kid was Tristan like growing up?
All he did was think, walk, eat, drink, basketball. He was a good kid. He loved the game. He liked to work with other kids to help them love the game. Just a really good kid.
How great is this for you to see finally him get his pro debut?
It's my dream come true. When he was little, I always wanted him to go to college and maybe do pro. And he didn't want to go the college route, so okay. But now he's pro. And I haven't got words. I cried with the last game because it was so fantastic.
Oh, the last game was fantastic. 28 points. He was perfect from the land beyond. It sounds like you were quite the high school basketball player yourself. Tell me about your years.
Oh, well, I was in a Catholic high school and we played basketball, and I was the tallest girl, and I'm not that tall. He played basketball also.
So he's gotten his abilities from the two of you. It's from you, Bob. Okay, great. It's been fantastic to watch. He's a great kid. He's worked his butt off, and coaching staff can't say enough about him. So
very, very proud. Very proud.
Enjoy your time, the rest of your time here in British Columbia, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
All right, there is Bob and Kathy from Kenosha, Wisconsin, grandparents of Tristan Jass. Andrew, back to you.
Bob, Kathy, thanks so much for making the trip up to beautiful British Columbia, coming out of Kenosha, Wisconsin, as Chris said. And Kenosha, right around a population of 100,000 too, so similar to some of those Fraser Valley cities you see around here, Langley, Chilliwack, Abbotsford. And you know what? With what you've seen from Tristan so far, it's going to be super exciting how he performs through the rest of camp as he hits that three, dialing it up right there. As we think about his success, we also want to touch on Cal Tire, a proud partner and tire expert of the CEBL. Shop top tire brands and have peace of mind with Cal Tire's price match guarantee. Shop and book at caltire.com. Cal Tire, a partner of the CEBL for the past few years, and as the CEBL entering year 7, That's what you're looking to see. You're seeing some big names, some social media stars. Tristan Jazz can't get that one to go. But I think, Cheryl, as we enter this season, you're seeing a higher level of Canadian talent also make the choice to play, as that one's going to drop for Victor, another and one opportunity.
Well, you know, some of the challenges this year, obviously not a challenge, but something that was really great is the extended schedule to the CEBL, added some more games. We have 120 regular season games this year, which is really exciting in year 7. But one of the challenges is starting a little bit earlier and waiting for some players to come from the European team. So a lot of coaches making some decisions about who can stay here for the summer. And that's going to be an important part for the recruiting process.
And we hope our fans are here all summer long. Year 7 of CEBL Hoops. Right now, Bandits up by 7, 35-28. You're watching CEBL Basketball Live on YouTube and CEBL Plus, powered by TonyBet.
Download the CEBL mobile app now.
We've made a commitment to Championship Weekend again in 2025 in Winnipeg. I think you'll see the biggest and best Championship Weekend to date.
Welcome back inside Langley Event Center, the home of Bandits basketball. Bandits up by 7 as Victor can't complete the and one opportunity. The Bandits tonight wearing their black uniforms, which they'll usually wear on home court. And those uniforms courtesy of New Era. New Era is the exclusive game uniform partner of the CEBL and all 10 of its teams from coast to coast. Pick up your official replica jerseys today by visiting CEBL.ca. And you know what, Cheryl? Isaiah Brockington looking pretty nice in those black unis with that two-handed flush.
You know, setting off the flames again. We talked about the excitement of building into getting ready for the home opener coming up on May 22nd. But part of that is getting the fan base excited by great offensive and defensive plays. That one, not as much a great defensive play, but offensively we saw a great dunk on the other side.
The former Iowa State Cyclone started his college career at St. Bonaventure as Mitch Creek gets that one to go off glass. You know what? A little bit of a forgotten art, Cheryl, going off glass. Mitch Creek has a little bit of that traditional element to his game.
You know, it doesn't need to be pretty. It just needs to be effective. And he plays so hard, but he plays so smart, the little details that he brings into the game. Great hustle play. And again, as a coach, you love that. That's something that Coach Kyle Julius talks about a lot of times. Hitting the floor, the grit, the grind of the game. So he's got to be really happy to see his big man hit the floor like that.
2 of your potential leading players, both in the starting lineup tonight, hitting the deck in one sequence. Tyrese Samuel, Mitch Creek, sacrificing the body. That's the mentality for this team. It may be a little bit more of a score-by-committee approach. We'll have to see. Mitch Creek, certainly the leading scorer last year, but a great sign, even in preseason, as the Bandits are up 9.
Mangus and Nuga come back in. Glenn Yang heads back to the bench, as does Jazz. So here we have, again, a different kind of lineup. And we're going to keep seeing this throughout the preseason of which guys can score in the pick and roll together, who can hit that open shot. Mitch Creek does such a great job of creating space for others. And we'll see who can start working on each other. We talked about the fact that we have a lot of new faces this year, so that chemistry is part of what you wanted to see in your training camp. But the preseason game is really that game to see if it's going to come to fruition against other teams.
Former UFD Cascade Jordan Seacon recently checking in for the Warriors. Here's the swing over to Nuga. Quick trigger. Doesn't go. Samuel wrapped up. Draws the foul, and I think this year, Cheryl, Tyrese Samuel is going to be wreaking a little bit of havoc in the paint.
Well, you know, we've seen a lot of size over the last little bit. Nick Ward, obviously, big body inside, but the reality is part of that relentless attitude that Coach Julius is looking for is who's going to make the effort to get into the spots to crash the boards. And Tyrese obviously did a great job in that last series getting to that hot spot rebounding.
Couple hands on that one as AJ Singh was looking to get into the paint. Here's Bassi, former Manitoba Bison. Bassi, quick swing. Warriors have to get it up. And that one drops from deep. AJ Singh shooting it in a phone booth. He didn't have a lot of space to operate.
You know, Tyrese had an outstretched arm there, but the look was a great look, and so we'll see if they can make a little bit of a run with a 6-point lead, you know.
Here we go, Mitch Creek, 2 hands, little soft touch at the rim for the pride of Horsham, Australia.
You know, little details, the ability to score off of a defensive play, and again, talked about that ability to get good scoring looks off of more than just an offensive series, but it coming from a defensive stop. So, you know, Coach Julius has been asking and demanding of those things throughout training week, and that toughness and that resilience piece. And so, you know, the leader of your team, Mitch Creek, you saw him in warm-up talking his guys into different actions, into different plays, that readiness of being competitive. And, you know, it's something that we definitely noticed towards the end of the season last year when he came in. So it's great to see him here early, setting the tone for who they want to be this season.
The Bandits right now 41-33, up by 8. We saw a good start to the game for Kyle Mangus. Great start for Tyrese Samuel as well. But the leading scorers for the Warriors in that first quarter, Cheryl, Vic Gill.
Well, you know, it'll be interesting to see the different looks coming out of each timeout based on both teams. And obviously, Vic Gill showing that he can play at this level. And we said in the pregame, it's going to be so important for every player to be able to show what they can do at this level.
A little bit of action here left in the second quarter, about halfway through. Going to take an opportunity to talk about Neo and the great offer that they have for CEBL fans. You could get cash back on Bandits ticket purchases at cebl.ca/Neo. When using your Neo credit card, sign up now and receive a $25 bonus courtesy of Neo. And again, like you mentioned earlier in the show, Cheryl, there's more home games this year. We're going to be spending a little bit more time at LEC. It's a beautiful thing. 24 games in expanded regular season, which of course means 12 can't-miss tilts here at Langley Event Center.
Well, and the Bandits did a great job of getting the job done at home last year, so the fans were spoiled to see a lot of wins here. So obviously something Coach Julius would love to continue into today's game and setting the tone for what the season is going to look like.
Inside to Vic Gill again. National team 3-on-3 player. Doesn't get it to go. Here's Samuel. They've talked about his ability off the dribble. Look at him go. Tyrese Samuel all the way to the hoop. Doesn't get it to go, but fans starting to rise to their feet.
That's a great one-on-one matchup there. Vic has that beautiful little fadeaway short corner jumper. Didn't drop, but I love the fact that Samuel comes right back at him. Unfortunately, gets him to draw that foul.
Samuel played his college ball, as Chris said in the pregame show, at Seton Hall. Spent the last year at Florida. Hits the first free throw. Averaged right around a double-double at Florida. Actually led the entire SEC in field goal percentage, around 56%. And for the Bandits, that's going to be a big boost this year as Tyrese Samuel goes 2 for 2 from the stripe.
You know, an SEC All-Star, he's been getting the job done, and so it's really exciting to see the development of young pros. You know, first year playing pro. Can what they did at the NCAA level translate to what's happening? And this is one of the first steps in that journey. So excited to see him develop over the course of the season.
Here's Mangus. Doesn't drop. Over to Samuel. Turns the corner. Quickly out to Nuga. Over to Mangus. This foul is going to be on the ground, charged against the Warriors. Say it's going to go against Jordan Seacon, his first, as Nuga was looking to turn the corner. Jazz Bajwa checks out. Victor checking the ball for the Warriors. Samuel, not a proficient three-point shooter, but he's been working on it like Chris said. And you know what? Top of the perimeter, nothing but the bottom of the net.
One of the things that players find when they come to play for the Bandits is that Kyle Julius does believe so strongly in that player development piece. And so, you know, if guys didn't have it in their game before they get here, if they're willing to put the time in, they're definitely going to be given opportunities to add it to their game by the end of the summer.
Mitch Creek with the steal. Here's Mangus. Takes some contact, takes a lot of contact. He's going to go to the line. Foul's going to be charged against Victor. He wants to hear about why. No, excuse me, that's going to go against Big Gill. Jazz Bajwa checks back in as Big Gill is going to take a seat. Also checking in, number 11, Jaden Narwhal. Coming out of Vancouver, BC, played some high school hoops at Collingwood. Frequent provincial participant in this building. Bandits starting to stretch things out. Up 13 right now. And Cheryl, when you talk about that preseason action, of course, yourself as a U Sports coach, there's multiple exhibitions that you guys do, often going back east, sometimes internationally. Is this all about finessing your game plan and kind of figuring out what you guys can do on both sides of the ball?
I'm not sure exactly if finesse is the right word. You know, sometimes you've made these assumptions throughout the entire offseason of pieces that you're bringing in and seeing if it fits into the puzzle that you have. And so some coaches, you know, how well do we fit the pieces together? We talked about the challenges of import and domestic players and finding the right lineup. So you're experimenting, you're trying to figure out, okay, that's the two-person action that we're looking for, that's the pick-and-roll matchup that we're looking for, you know, that's who we want taking that shot. So the finesse piece will come throughout the regular season, but the preseason is really just looking at your theories and wondering, was I right with our assumptions? And obviously as a coaching staff, they're going to pore over these videos to make sure that they can look at the starts of the quarters and how they finish the quarters and which lineups and matchups that they're trying to create. And obviously, when you start playing against another CEBL team, you're going to have to look at matchups in terms of their domestic and import players as well. So there definitely is a science to the CEBL, and so a lot of this is putting theory into action.
Here's Creek. Fakes the handoff, goes to the rim, blocking foul, going to be charged against AJ Singh. Creek's going to head to the line for 2 shots, and for the Bandits, a little preview of what they can do offensively. You talked about different looks, different aesthetics, multiple players bringing up the rock. That time, Mitch Creek calling his own number.
Well, there's a lot of challenges when it comes to not having a primary ball handler, but one of the beautiful parts of it is having multiple people that can score in transition.
As Creek misses the first and few minutes away from halftime, but you got a lot to look forward to. Don't go anywhere. Coming up at the half, CEBL 101. You're going to have a look at some of the features that make the CEBL unique. We'll review the first half highlights, halftime stats, and revisit Cheryl's player to watch from the game so far. Creek splits a pair. Bandits up by 16. Tyrese Samuel checking out. And Myjock Gum coming in. Played in the school day game a few days ago. Pride of Surrey, played at Wilfrid Laurier University.
Our first look at him tonight. And again, not necessarily that you want to hide some of your younger guys, but sometimes you need to hide your younger guys until you know what they're capable of doing. Ooh, got a little bit of a travel call there. Looked like a great move, maybe hoping for some contact. Unfortunately, goes to travel and possession changes.
Bajwa backpedaling, got it to go off glass, appealing for the and one. It's going to be a turnover charged against the Warriors. Here's Nuga. Creek's down low. That's going to be his easiest 2 of the night. Not the man you want to leave wide open under the hoop.
A great little cross screen there and again, you're looking at guys and their willingness to do the little things. And so that's another thing that the coaching staff is looking at. Who's setting great screens? Who's creating for their teammates? Who's finding ways to help their team score? And with the score 51-33 here with 3 minutes left in this first half, you know, they're starting to find that separation. And so, you know, one of the things that they looked at from last year to this year is, okay, we found ourselves scoring a lot in the first quarter, a lot in the third quarter, beginning of quarters. One of the things that you want to start looking at is a trend. What are our trends? Are we scoring a lot in the first quarter? Are we scoring a lot from the half court? How are we handling matchups? Inside scoring look there for the Sikh Warriors. So they're finding their scoring looks as well, just maybe not as many of them, but those are some things that the coaching staff are going to be reevaluating.
Bandits starting to settle in here. We're going to have Tristan Jazz checking back in. Isaiah Brockington couldn't get that one to go. And for Brockington, has the ability to facilitate, but could be one of the primary featured scorers on this team as the season goes on. Has some NBA experience to his name, suiting up for a few games with the New Orleans Pelicans in 2023. Really prized acquisition for head coach and GM Kyle Julius in the offseason. First free throw spills in.
The Sikh Warriors have gone to a bigger lineup here, so we'll see defensively how, like one of the questions that we have are how are Bandits going to handle kind of mismatches and some of that. Mitch Creek has played multiple defensive positions as well, so we'll see what they do with this.
Victor all the way coast to coast. Runs right past Tristan Jazz on his way to the rim. Head coach Kyle Julius doesn't like it. Might be the blow by, might have been the lack of support defending the rim. Either way, head coach Kyle Julius wants to talk it over. And Cheryl, right now, Bandits up by 18, 2:49 left in this first half. The Warriors were sticking around to start this one. You talked about the Bandits settling in. What's been working for them offensively?
Well, you know, when we look at from their previous game 2 days ago to this game, a lot of it are the guys making the adjustments that they were asking for. So now we're starting getting to gameplay in terms of things that we've already seen in limited view for some of our younger players especially. So we're seeing some guys tonight that didn't play the other day. Some guys that played a lot are playing a lot, and how they figure out their rotation. So I think with the Bandits, obviously the ball has moved really well. They're finding different looks, different scoring looks, corner three, off of the cut, getting to the free throw line for Mitch Creek. I still think there's probably some questions defensively that Kyle Julius will have for his athletes in terms of, transition scoring look that gets to the rim and goes to the free throw line. So there's going to be some things that they want to see first half to second half, first quarter to second quarter, first time that defensive breakdown happens, can they shore those up the second time? So a lot of little things that we're going to see as the season progresses. Some of those questions are going to have to get answered.
Looking for answers here. Head coach Kyle Julius calling for a timeout, looking to his team to try and work out the kinks. And we're going to send it over to our sideline reporter, Chris Wiggins, with a little bit of insight from what he's seen on the action so far.
Savory, you're absolutely right. He was not happy with that possession defensively whatsoever. Preseason or not, Tristan, you got to cut that player off before he gets inside the three-point line. There was absolutely no weak side help. It's absolutely unacceptable. So great to see Kyle on top of these guys, even though it's preseason. That gets them in the mode for tip-off in a couple of weeks here at the LEC.
If there's one thing we know about Kyle Julius basketball, there are no hall passes. You make a mistake, you're going to hear about it, and that's just the type of coach he is. But that's what it takes to be a champion. Again, we mentioned early in the show, coming up 2 points shy of their first CBL title, a heartbreaker in Montreal, summer 2024. Brockington quickly over to Jazz. Nice swing to Creek. Over to Nuga. Look at the ball fly around the hoop. Doesn't go, but kept alive. Here's Nuga. 10 seconds to work with. Here's Jazz. Over Devon Bogle. Three-pointer doesn't go. Nice ball movement from the Bandits, but couldn't get it to fall. Tour once again leading the way for the Warriors. Off a leg, it's going to stay. 2:09 left in the first half here of preseason action at LEC.
Well, one of the things that we're going to see, especially when you have youth sport development players, is are the older guys going to teach the younger guys how to get things done? You saw, Mitch Creek really cut that drive off there, had some information for Tristan there to help him understand. Like, the defensive rotations are a big part of understanding the game, and for our pro players, they've had to figure out very quickly what their coach wants when it comes to defensive philosophies, and so it's great to see Mitch Creek help these guys out when it comes to understanding where they need to be.
And Creek, you can see, well-conditioned, spent his past season playing in Turkey. Ready to go right now, running the floor, but the Warriors diving for it. Bassi, time, space. Three doesn't fall. Here's Creek once more, on-man rush. Over to Jazz, all the way Tough turnover there. Creek's going to commit a take foul against Bassi. They're in the bonus situation, so that's going to be 2 free throws for the Warriors. Like we said in the pregame show, AJ Bassi played his university ball at the University of Manitoba, a local from Winnipeg, played some ball overseas, spending time with the Newcastle Eagles in the British Basketball League, hits his first free throw.
You know, it's great. Sukhvir Singh also from Winnipeg. So we're seeing, you know, Canadian talent on both teams, which is really exciting. And like we said earlier, you have pro players that are trying to find their way into the next. And whether that's the next division, the next country on their list of pro teams to sign contracts, for a player to look at this film and say, this is what I looked like against pros from the CEBL. So this game, like we said, is so important for both teams.
Such a great point, and look at that dish. Nuga to Creek. Little preview of what we may see all season long. Creek knows exactly what to do with that one. Over the timeline is Bassi. Less than a minute left in the first half here. Tour. Turns the corner, draws the foul. That one's going to be charged against Samuel. A little bit of a hip check, and Tour's going to go to the line for 2 shots. Bandits up 19, both teams in the bonus. And again, you talk about building habits, building characteristics, Cheryl. Really important to end a quarter and start the next quarter as well as you can.
Well, you know, sending them to the free throw line the last few possessions is probably not the way that you want to build momentum heading into the second half. But again, those are certain little things where you might have to look at your lineups on the floor and say, if this is not the defensive lineup that we want to end the quarter, then those are some things that we'll have to figure out as a coaching staff. And obviously that pick and roll, you know, the ability to communicate through that, who is defending those actions well together, where are some of the holes that we'll have to shore up. So it's kind of the preseason time of year where normally you might do some of these things in closed doors. It's great that our fans can watch this preseason game. It's great for the Sikh Warriors to be a part of the CEBL experience. And hopefully it's just creating more and more excitement for our fan base across the country and all around the world for that matter.
Nuga hits a nice little pull-up jumper. That pass inadvertently thrown out of bounds. Kyle Julius calling for 1 shot, 27 seconds and change to work with left in the first half. Here's Nuga killing a little bit clock. Nuga, 9 seconds, 6 seconds on the shot clock. Brockington, Samuel's in the lane, and there you go. What a way to finish the first half. Tyrese Samuel throwing it down. And that's going to be all you have it for the first 20 minutes, folks. Bandits up by 22, 61 to 39. We'll be hearing from Chris Wiggins in a few short moments, but the Bandits, look at what they drew up. Little pocket pass to Tyrese Samuel, and we're going to send it over to Chris, who's now joined by Tristan Jazz for our halftime sideline interview presented by our official sideline partner, Russell Athletic. Over to you, Chris.
With the man himself, Tristan Jazz, 5 points, 3 dimes so far here tonight. You had a great night on Thursday. First of all, congratulations on your pro debut. What's it like being a pro baller?
Man, it's unbelievable, man. It's always been a dream of mine, and the Vancouver Bandits gave me a shot at doing this, so it's been great, man. Very blessed.
What can you say about the workouts Kyle Julius has put you through the last couple of weeks?
Man, that dude is the real deal, man. He means business. He's the best coach I've ever had in my life, and he's really hands-on with the workouts and stuff. He's just all in. He's very passionate about it, and he's a great overall coach. So love the guy. He's a great guy.
Tell me more about what you were seeing on Thursday. 28 points. You were perfect from the land beyond. What were you seeing out there?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, as I was saying, beginner's luck, man. I was just feeling good, feeling confident, and a couple shots went in, but leave that in the past. We got to move forward and get ready for the next stuff coming up.
I was chatting with your grandparents here at the start of the second quarter. What's it like having them in town?
Man, it's great, man, to see some of my family out here. It means a lot to me. I got a lot of people watching back home and a lot of people supporting, so it really means a lot to me. And whoever's watching back at the crib, I love you guys. Thanks for all the support. It means a lot.
All right, good luck in the second half. Thank you. All right, man. There is Tristan Jass, 5 points, 3 dimes so far here as the Vancouver Bandits up big here as we wrap up the first half. We're back in a bit, CEBL Plus and YouTube tonight. It's all presented by Tony Bett.
All right, I just heard the bell. Class is in session. CEBL 101. Now, we talked about a lot of new fans potentially just tuning in for the first time, maybe following the league for the first time. What do you need to know, S?
Well, fun fact, it is the largest pro sports league in Canada. But also, look, let's break it down very simply. 10 teams, East and West, 5 in the East, 5 in the West.
Pop quiz. You go East, I go West. Bam.
Niagara River Lions.
Calgary Surge.
Scarborough Shooting Stars.
Winnipeg Sea Bears.
Brampton Honey Badgers.
Saskatchewan Rattlers.
Montreal Lions.
Vancouver Bandits.
Ottawa Blackjacks.
Edmonton Stingers. Fact check. We good, producers?
Yeah, we're good.
We got all 10.
10.
We got all 10. Okay, and now we have a ton of players that come from different walks of life into the league, whether it's college, university, Europe, NBA, the G League.
Yeah, it is a stacked league with tons of talent from everywhere. You're thinking Europe, you're thinking G League, NBA, and obviously the main catch here, Canadian universities and colleges. This is a Canadian league, and it's bringing some of the best Canadian talents around the world.
And the most exciting thing about our league is target score. If you haven't heard about this, it is the best way to end a basketball game.
Yep.
You know, you're the winning team, you add 9 points, and that's the target score for the game. It eliminates long games, a lot of pausages in the game, if that's a word.
Every game is a buzzer beater.
That's all you need to know right there.
Every single game is a game winner, and that's why the CBL is awesome.
Absolutely. And now for our OG fans, what are some of the new things? There's a demand for this sport in this league, and that's why we've gone from 20 games to 24 games this season.
That's going to be massive. Also, championship weekend in Winnipeg. It's going to be awesome because Winnipeg is one of the best crowds in the CBL. Now, also, the team that's hosting championship weekend gets a bye. They are able to get to that playoff spot automatically, and we'll see what happens. Maybe the Niagara River Lions, defending champions, can keep things up and win
the
it back
Sea
to
Bears
back.
will attempt to be just the second team to host and win a championship this season. Of course,
that's big.
Saskatchewan doing it in our inaugural year in 2019. So what will happen this year? What will unfold? You have to stay tuned to find out.
And if you want more information, cbl.ca/FAQ.
All right.
City of Montreal. Game of the week featuring the Blackjacks from Ottawa taking on the Alliance from Montreal. And we're going to have such a great time tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Why? The tension is mounting here in Montreal. You talk about adrenaline and emotions, and the heart is just pounding. It's enough. Quick three. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. Going all the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. Going all the way
up. What keeps me going? Under the heat of the sun or in the heat of the moment. When climbing for even one more second seems like too much. Whether you're reaching for your goal or busy setting new ones, everyone hits their limit, but that limit has a reset. Scientifically formulated to hydrate faster in the moments that matter. Electrolyte, instant hydration.
We've made a commitment to championship weekend again in 2025 in Winnipeg. I think you'll see the biggest and best championship weekend to date.
Saskatchewan Rattlers. Edmonton win. Hamilton Honey Badgers. Shooting Star. Lions are kings of the CEBL.
rotate to the right, sent to the floor.
Here, Canada like center. It is electric.
Welcome back inside Langley Event Center. Saturday evening, and the Bandits are up by 22 against the Sikh Warriors. Warriors hanging around in the first quarter, but Cheryl, Bandits starting to extend their lead in that second quarter. Couple points for Tristan Jazz, few assists. He was your key player to watch tonight, presented by Tony Bet. What did you see from the young man's game?
Well, the one nice thing, obviously, the previous game, he was able to find those shots early, and it really hasn't been necessarily the same type of scoring, which I don't think anyone expected. But the most important part is that he's not trying to force it. He's taking the shots that have been there. First scoring look was a back cut, being able to create for others. And so it's really about playing within the system, and that's something that he needed to show today, which he's done a good job of.
You talked about the system for the Vancouver Bandits. Dishing the rock could be really key. It hasn't quite emerged who's going to be their go-to scorer. Is it Creek? Is it Mangus? Is it a little bit of everyone? But Cheryl, 14 first-half assists for the Bandits.
Off of 25 made field goals, you're looking at the ability to create offense for each other. And so, again, looking at the puzzle versus the puzzle pieces offensively, finding ways to help each other find good scoring looks. And I love the fact that early in the season, you're finding the pick and roll, you're finding the back cut, you're finding the scoring look off of a transition play. Those are good signs of good chemistry. And so, obviously, as a coach, that's always good if it's not necessarily isolation scores just yet. You have some time to figure those things out, but the fact that your team is finding good scoring looks is a great early sign in preseason.
As we talk about those first half highlights, some of the things that stuck out for the Sikh Warriors, they pressured the Bandits a little bit. You saw Victor, a couple and one opportunities. What did you like about the Warriors game?
Well, the Warriors have done a great job of going to the matchups that they like, and we've talked about whether the Bandits are going to struggle with size or struggle with transition scoring looks. And the Sikh Warriors have the ability to go to those scoring looks, whether it's great, short corner jumpers, inside scoring looks, scoring in transition. So the Warriors have done a good job of staying in this game. Had a little chance to chat with their coach, Sukhveer Singh, before the game, and he kind of talked a little bit about we're hoping to score 88. And we will talk about the Elam scoring system, target scoring finish later on. But for the Warriors, this was a game that they wanted to see how long they could stick around. Obviously some players that have a lot of different experiences, but, they have a chance to go on a run to start the second half. They're going to have to find a way to stop the action, stop the assists, the scoring looks, and see if they can get to the boards a little bit better.
And for the Warriors, we'll see what they have in the bank for the second half. 20 minutes left of action. Don't go anywhere. You're watching CBL Basketball live on YouTube and CBL Plus, powered by Tony Bet.
Fasten your seatbelt tonight. We're going to have some high energy and some high flying stuff.
All the drama, all the excitement, all the fun. Pull up to a CEBL game this summer. Get your tickets now at CEBL.ca or on the CEBL mobile app. And hey, get 15% cash back when you pay with your NEO credit card when buying tickets at CEBL.ca/NEO.
There is a buzz not only in this building, but in this community. The basketball field in this part of the province is something extra special.
The Battle of Alberta, not on ice, not on the field, but on the hardwood tonight.
A rivalry almost as old as time itself. Calgary and Edmonton.
Hey guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the Rip Berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk and I'll add spinach and ginger? And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed, and definitely have the power booster and the collagen booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, Custom Chaos? One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Booster Juice, freshly made your way.
keeps me going? Under the heat of the sun or in the heat of the moment. When climbing for even one more second seems like too much. Whether you're reaching for your goal or busy setting new ones, everyone hits their limit, but that limit has a reset. Scientifically formulated to hydrate faster in the moments that matter. Electrolyte, instant hydration.
Hope you're having fun, folks. Langley Event Center, the site of the home of Bandits basketball. You know what? It's their second preseason tune-up game, Cheryl. But head coach Kyle Julius, he likes to take three-pointers. But in the first half, just 4 of 15. Is it just a matter of finding their consistency, or are the looks not there?
Well, being able to establish who those shooters are going to be and type of shots they're going to try to create for them. A lot of the little challenges are going to be the right shot at the right time. And so obviously, going from last year's team to this year's team, who is going to be that player that can knock down open shots? And so it's going to be something that they'll have to discover as they head into the beginning of the regular season in a few days.
We'll see if they find that consistency in the second half. But first, we have Chris Wiggins alongside Bandits assistant coach Louis Alafid with some first half analysis.
Thank you, Andrew. Not only new G League faces on the floor, but new G League faces on the bench. Welcome to a new assistant coach, Lou Al-Hafid. What's your time like been in BC so far?
Oh, it's been great. The people have been very welcoming. I love our staff, our players. They work hard, they're coachable, and the community's been wonderful. So we're very blessed, yeah.
You're coming off your first season in the G League with the Dallas Mavericks affiliate. What do you know about the CEBL?
I know that they play in the summer and they have good players. So, a lot of talent here. Some of our guys who I've coached against in the G League, and the CEBL is a great place to showcase your skills, especially in the summer.
Tell me what you said a couple of days ago about Kyle Mangus.
I think he has a great chance to be the player of the year in our league. He's hardworking, high character, and just wants to win.
And now to the game at hand tonight. What did you like from your group in the first half?
I thought no worries. I thought we started a little slow defensively, but we picked it up in the second quarter. We had more controlled aggression on the ball, and they didn't have any fast break points, and we had 12. So we just got to continue that in the second half.
Coach, welcome to BC, and thanks for doing this.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
All right, there is a new assistant coach for the Vancouver Bandits. It's Coach Lou, and not only again G League players on the floor, but G League players on the bench across the league. As we send it back to you, Andrew.
Thanks so much, Chris. And Cheryl, for the Bandits, we've seen some good signs from their offense. I mean, right now on pace for 122 points. We'll see if they get there. But just as important, if not more important for Kyle Julius, is the defense. So for the Warriors, what do they have to do to maybe break that defense? And what do the Bandits have to do to keep it going?
Well, if we talk about that relentless mindset that the Bandits are going to come into the second half with, for the Warriors, it's just being patient with the basketball. Victor did a great job earlier in the game of getting to the rim, attacking that left-hand side. Now that first defensive rotation has gone a little bit better, they're going to have to get to that next play, that next scoring look. The ability to move the ball, perhaps go into some pick-and-roll scoring looks of their own to see if they can create something out of action. So we'll see what Coach Sukhveer Singh had to say offensively at halftime and the kind of response that he's going to see. But he knew that they needed to shoot the ball well. And so 2 for 15 from the three-point line for the Warriors is not a stat line that they can look up and say that's one of the reasons why we're in this game. So we'll see if they can improve on that going into the second half.
For the Warriors, started this game with Victor. Big Gil got it going in the first quarter, quieted down in the second due to some foul trouble. Limited minutes for Jordan Seacon. Jazz Bajwas also contributed. Again, these are names that if you play Fraser Valley Lower Mainland hoops, you've heard them before, maybe even played them at a Pro-Am circuit. And for Cheryl, what a thrill for them to have friends and family in attendance tonight.
One of the things we talked about, the beauty of the CEBL, is that you have pro players that have been playing overseas for years at times, and sometimes their family and friends never get a chance to see them play. The CEBL is now creating this opportunity where local athletes are playing professional basketball in their hometowns. That's something that's so special that the CEBL has been bringing in. Look at the fan base, and this is for a preseason game, so it's so exciting for the fan base to re-familiarize themselves with players that they watched in high school, university, college, and now at the pro level.
And we have an awesome turnout here tonight and at LEC. You know it's going to be rocking. That home opener against who else but a championship rematch. The Niagara River Lions, number 1 and 2 in the power rankings, recently dropped. But first for the Bandits, it's a road game trip to SaskTel Center next week. May 15th, the season opener for the Vancouver Bandits against the Saskatchewan Rattlers.
Jaden Narwhal misses that first scoring look, but that's the shot that Sukhvir Singh was talking about. They create the open look. They just got to knock that down. So we'll see if they can get to that three-point shot for the Warriors for sure in the second half.
We'll see if the Warriors can find their stroke from deep. For Mangus, he talked about it, Cheryl. 1 of 5 from deep in the first. What does he do in the second half? Goes to the rim and drops a floater.
Well, you know, if you're Coach Julius, you're not going to say stop shooting, but there's other scoring looks and letting players develop their full game. That's the shot that the Warriors have been looking for. And great knockdown there by AJ Singh.
AJ Singh up to 10 points. He's the third member of the Warriors in double figures. Here's Creek, draws the double. Look at the hustle from Singh, kept alive by Nuga. Swung over to Samuel, inside, left alone. Kyle Mangus, nice backdoor cut and good recognition from the Bandits.
Warriors showing a little bit of a zone in that stretch there, and Mangus did a great job of not just recognizing that, they're not keeping guys locked into that corner, recognizes the defensive read that got pulled up to the three-point line, and a great team play. But again, that cut doesn't matter if the ball doesn't find you. So again, the Warriors having to cut off the passer as much as the cutter. And so we'll see what happens as we kind of keep going through this third quarter here. Great scoring look. These are such good signs. Isaiah Brockington giving up the basketball. Tyrese Samuel finishing at the rim. It's going to be some fun action looking at who's connecting early on in the season.
Tyrese Samuel, a tremendous athlete, able to get up and down the floor. Over the years, the Bandits have had different rim protectors. Nick Ward, not exactly pure rim protector, sometimes gets yanked out. Brandon Gilbeck led the league in blocks a couple of years, but Tyrese Samuel, tremendous wingspan for the young man out of LaSalle, Quebec. Lefty hook doesn't go, and Big Gill gets the board. Bassi.
We talked about the Warriors needing to get in some two-person action. First pick and roll look. And again, they don't get to the scoring look, but getting to the free throw line early is also going to be an opportunity for them. So that's going to be something that the Bandits are going to have to clean up in terms of not being able to give some of those off-ball, you know, action-based scoring looks. Like, at least make them work a little bit harder for that.
Here's Gill. That might have been a travel. Indeed it was. Try to cross up Tyrese Samuel. Trevor West with the call.
You know, one of the things that the Bandits struggled with last year a little bit is that when the big man got pulled out to the three-point line to prevent some of that action, they really struggled with that. So I think that's something that Tyrese Samuel is going to do a much better job of being able to get to that three-point line defensively.
Here's Nuga, takes some contact. A little too strong off glass. Here's Tour. Looking to go all the way himself. He's a lefty. Would have been pretty if it falls. Doesn't go, and Tour back to the free throw line. And if you're a fan of Cascades hoops, you would have seen that over the past couple years. And right now, if you're just joining us, whether you're watching on your TV, whether you're watching on YouTube or CBL Plus, you can also download the official CEBL mobile app, helping you stay up to date with the latest news, player stats, and standings. Grab your tickets and official merch and stream live games and exclusive on-demand content all season long. So what I'm hearing, Cheryl, is there's no excuse to be missing CBL basketball. Whether you're watching at home or you're on the go, just download the app and tune in.
You know what? There's so much basketball on right now. NBA playoffs, WNBA preseason, heading into the regular season, and obviously CBL, our personal favorite at this time of year. So for a basketball fan, it's a great time to be watching the game.
Woo! Look out below. Tyrese Samuel coming through with vengeance.
You know, he's going to be our Flames guy. I have a feeling like he's going to be setting this building on fire this summer. So great to see him finding different guys that are creating scoring looks for him.
A little bit of a one-handed leaner. I have a feeling in that weekly CBL top 10, maybe a repeat offender.
Well, you know what? If this is the only game in town so far, it should be Bandits highlights the whole way through, I'm thinking.
As we see it on the replay there, Tyrese Samuel introducing himself to the hometown crowd. Here's Tour. Look at the play by Creek, leading the break, gets the steal. Swings it out to Nuga. Can he can the three? Doesn't go. Here's Singh. Big rebound by Jordan Seacon over to Tour. Head coach Kyle Julius says offensive board gets given up. And a look at the rim for the Warriors. They're down 22, but again, ironing out those defensive rotations, Cheryl.
Well, if you look at it, giving up a transition scoring look, giving up an offensive rebound, giving up a foul, it's critical to not do those things 3 in a row. So I'm pretty sure that's what Coach Julius is talking about right now.
Bandits are going to talk it over. Up by 22, 69-47. You're watching CEBL basketball live on YouTube and CEBL Plus, powered by TonyBet.
Download the CEBL mobile app now.
We've made a commitment to Championship Weekend again in 2025 in Winnipeg. I think you'll see the biggest and best Championship Weekend to date.
Welcome back to the LEC Langley Event Center. Chris Wiggins, Andrew Savory, Cheryl, John Paul. It is 69-47. Vancouver Bandits up over the Sikh Warriors. As mentioned a handful of times on the broadcast tonight, this is preseason game number 2 for the Bandits. They held their annual school game this past Thursday. 4,000 plus screaming elementary school kids across the Lower Mainland in attendance. Many anticipating the pro debut of course, Tristan Jass. He certainly did not disappoint. We've talked about it already. 28 points, a perfect 5 for 5 from 3. And for those who are skeptical if Tristan is ready for this level, Coach Kyle Julius had high praise for T-Jass on Bandits Media Day. After putting him through 2 weeks of tough 3-a-day workouts leading up to training camp, Coach said he was pretty impressed, passed with flying colors. He said he was aggressive. He came back to work every day with energy and a positive attitude. And then we got into the 5-on-5 situations. He was impressive. He was a fighter. He's a dog. And he's one of the smallest guys on the floor. So he gets knocked around a lot, but he gets back up, and he's impressed me in a variety of ways, but mostly with his toughness and his positive attitude. He's making the case for himself again tonight with a couple of points and some great assists here in preseason game number 2. So Tristan, yes, for all those haters and all those skeptics out there, Tristan can play at this level. Andrew, back to you.
Thanks so much, Chris. Tristan at 5 points, 3 assists. As we see Bassi miss that 3. Glenn Yang recently checking back in for the Bandits, and here's Brockington. Tries to zip it in, but quickly stolen by Tour. Off to the races with hang time. Vic Tour looking to add his contribution to the highlight reel, but it doesn't go. Yang, time, space. Doesn't drop, but Maye, big board. Yang, second try. Doesn't go either. Bajwa over to Bassi. Vic Gill trying to get open. Here comes Bajwa. Over to Bassi, wide open 3, top of the arc. That one's going to go. Warriors sticking around that 20-point deficit threshold, Cheryl.
No, coming out of that last timeout, 4-0 run for the Bandits. Great way to start it offensively, but from the defensive side of things, they're giving up scoring looks, and you know what, right now maybe the Warriors aren't getting those scoring looks, but it's still, from Kyle Julius's perspective, if we're giving it up here, it's going to be a score against the Rattlers or against Niagara. So it's not necessarily whether the ball is going in, it's what kind of looks are you giving up. So there's going to be some fixes. We'll see what this lineup does. And again, we kind of see Mangus coming in. He has 4 fouls, so we'll see if the Warriors can go and attack that.
Mangus back in. Was 1 of 5 from deep in the first half. His shooting woes continue. Shot 45% roughly this past year in the G League. One of the best three-point shooters in the entire G League and potentially this year in the CBL. It's going to be a foul. No, it's going to be a travel call. Charge against AJ Singh. Good sportsmanship from Sam Maillet. Might have stepped on a foot on his way down.
We talk about the different things that create the CBL, 10-minute quarters, 24-second shot clock. You know, oftentimes when players are making an adjustment, if they're not playing in leagues where they have the 24-second shot clock, it does get to that shot a little bit faster. And so oftentimes players just need a little bit of time to kind of get accustomed to the type of scoring looks that the FIBA shot clock kind of environment creates. And that quick three-point shot sometimes is the one that takes a little bit more time to develop. So we'll see how that looks. These are good looks for both teams. You know, preseason woes are sometimes the shooting percentage is not what you're hoping for.
Here's Jazz. Back to Yang. Hesitation dribble on his way to the hoop. Pull up. That's blocked by Gill. Great D from the Warriors. Tour. Over to Gill. Takes some contact. It's going to be on the ground. Charge against number 11, Glenn Yang. Gill slow to get up. Hope Gill's going to be okay, taking a few moments to gather his breath. Looks like he's going to stay in. Going to be a foul on the ground. And this year, with Winnipeg hosting championship weekend, you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a big party, the biggest celebration of basketball in the country because championship weekend is coming to Manitoba and Winnipeg. You don't want to miss your opportunity to be a part of the biggest event. And single game and event pack tickets are on sale now as AJ Bassi cans a 3 back within 20, 73-53.
If you're the Warriors right now, you're not necessarily looking at your shooting percentage from the first half. You're looking at the shots that you got. And so their goal in this quarter, knock down the same type of scoring looks. We've seen 2 go down already. It's a good sign for the Warriors. You know, and again, not necessarily looking up at the score from a perspective of down by 20, but can we knock down and finish the scoring looks that we've been creating?
Here's Tour. Over to Bassi. Recently hit a 3. Can he get the push to go? Nothing but the bottom of the net for Bassi. First time in a while the Warriors have been within 20. Could be seeing a late third quarter push here from the Sikh Warriors. As Shepherd, a little bit of hang time and Flames for good measure from the big man out of Kelowna.
You know, Gun Lang finding his forward, but again, like a lot of the little things in terms of the timing, sometimes it just takes a few more practices. You know, obviously limited practice time sometimes once the regular season starts, but knowing that your big men are getting those scoring looks at the rim is such a good sign for the Bandits.
Mangus uncontested on his way to the hoop. And for the Bandits, couple possessions, maybe a few lapses in the Warriors defense. That ball getting up the floor really quick. Tour over to Gale. He was looking for Bogle. Caught up there with Glenn Yang. Foul is going to be on the ground.
You know, that's pick and roll relay is a good look for the Warriors there. Try not to necessarily force the initial pass, relayed the ball around the three-point line and, you know, got tripped up. But again, here we are now kind of, are the Bandits going to find their way to get into foul trouble yet again? 2 or 3 minutes left in the corner. This can be costly as you get towards the end of the game, so just little things that they're going to have to figure out.
Yang got tangled up in the off-ball movement as Devon Bogle goes to the line for 2 shots. Bandits in the penalty. You hear the crowd getting quite loud. Little activation here. If Bogle misses 2 free throws, indeed he does. That means free sandwiches courtesy of A&W for everyone in the building. And you know what? I know they like hoops, but I think they're also hungry.
I think food always tastes better when it's free, so why not?
Gotta love it. The crowd getting a treat, and you know what? AJ Bassey putting up numbers, and he says, you know what? If you're watching some tape, like you said, Cheryl, maybe he wants a shot.
Well, you know, that's a great scoring look. Keep going to what's working as that little mid-range floater that he went to the last time. And again, like, the tempo of the game is something that the Warriors are proving, especially these guards are guys that know how to play with speed. So I think the Warriors need to find a way to speed things up a little bit. And it's now, especially every time that they get fouled, they go to the free throw line. So why not play a little bit faster?
Jaden Narwhal getting tangled up with Tristan Jazz. He's going to head to the line for 2 shots. Still down just 77-59. 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter as Narwhal misses the first.
You know, one of the things that really plagued the Warriors in the first half was their three-point shooting percentage. Unfortunately, now it's kind of gone to the free throw line. These are great ways of inching back into, but when you miss 3 of the last 4 free throws that you've taken, that's definitely not going to help your cause. So, you know, Coach Singh is going to tell his guys, listen, we got to make this. They're in bonus for the next 2 minutes. Let's find a way to knock down threes, knock down free throws, and get that defensive stop when we need to.
Up high to Majok, Gum trying to yam that one down. It doesn't go, and here's Tour off to the races. Warriors looking to dial up the intensity. Wide open, Vic Tour. Doesn't go. Mangus, stop, pop, cans it. The pride of Warsaw, Indiana, hitting his second 3 of the night. Was on a bit of a cold streak, Cheryl, but hits that one.
You know, and that one off the dribble in transition looked like his timing was perfect, looked really smooth. You know, so again, finding your own rhythm as a three-point shooter, it's not about the shots that you make or miss. It's, did it feel like it was the right shot? And so obviously for him, good sign for the Bandits. If he knows how to create that three-point shot, you don't necessarily need to do a ton of offensive, you know, actions and screens. If that's the shot that he's going to look for, now for the next level of his game is that confidence to go and just take it.
And we saw it last year with the Kobe McEwens, the Zach Copelands. Even when they're on a cold streak, the green light was always on to let it fly. You expect the same with Kyle Mangus. Time and space. Crowd would have loved it if that went. One more try for good measure. Looking to find a stroke. Someone might have left a door open in the building, caught a little bit of a draft.
You know, there's good to great, and then there's good to the other side of things. And so, you know, Kyle Julius is looking at his team saying someone's got to be the man. And he talked about Mangus being one of those players that should be and can be on that two-way, getting into the scratching the surface of the NBA. He's got to learn how to let those misses go. And that's going to be part of his player development is, you know, when you want to be at that level, you got to play at that level, whether the shots are dropping or not.
Here's Maé off the dribble. Quickly out to Yang. That one's tipped. Great block by Vic Tour. Stands right around 6'1", 6'2", but Vic Tour, if you haven't watched his U Sports tape, he's got a little bit of ups.
Well, I was actually looking at Maé's main there. You know, that little head fake when he's got those locks flying all over the place. That's
mesmerizing.
That's a beautiful move.
I know, I know. Here's Jazz to inbound. 28 seconds left in the quarter, 14-second differential, game clock, shot clock. Mangus to orchestrate. Checked by Seacon. That one spills out. Maé out to Jazz. 5 to work with. He's going to have to create. Here comes a prayer of Tristan Jazz. That's going to be a turnover charge to perhaps one of the better defensive possessions from the Warriors here tonight.
You know, Tristan Jazz, known for calling out trash talkers. We'll see if the little conversation Victor and I are having right now, you know, welcome to Canada. I think Jazz pointed to the score and said that speaks volume. So, you know, a different element of the game.
Bassey quickly swung over to Tour. They're not going to get a shot up as Yang lets it fly. Wouldn't have counted if it went. But for now, the Bandits nursing a 17-point lead, 80-63. Don't go anywhere. We got 10 minutes left of action, and of course, a CBL favorite, target score right around the corner. For now, you're watching CBL Basketball Live on YouTube and CBL Plus, powered by TonyBet.
Hey guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the rip berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk and I'll add spinach and ginger? And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed, and definitely have the power booster and the collagen booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, Custom Chaos? One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Blister Juice, freshly made your way.
We are live from the beautiful city of Montreal. Game of the week featuring the Blackjacks from Ottawa taking on the Alliance from Montreal. And we're going to have such a great time tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Why? The tension is party here in Montreal. You talk about adrenaline and emotions, and the heart is just pounding. Gives it up. Quick three.
At Cal Tire, we know winter can be tough on your car. So springtime is alignment time. Saving you fuel, saving your tires. With precise alignments. Learn more at caltire.com.
Next bucket wins. Target score time is the best time of a game. The energy, the drama, that anything can happen. Oh my goodness! Can you believe this guy? Big players step up in big time. He is cooking.
Just to right Foreman, top side for the win. Good. Get out the salami and cheese, mama. Onions, baby onions.
Oh my goodness, it is good to be back, Cheryl. It's been too long. Last time we saw the Bandits in CBL action was last August, and you know what? Little early preview with some preseason gamesmanship between Vancouver and the Sikh Warriors. Vancouver up 80-63 as Mitch Creek gets to the hoop with a pretty spin. But for the Bandits, committing 14 fouls so far here tonight. Couple guys in foul trouble, 5 of 25 from deep, and also allowing the Warriors shooting a respectable 49% from the field. So after tonight's game, what has stood out to you maybe as a few items to work on?
Well, you used the word finesse a little bit earlier, and I think that's kind of the goal, is to just keep finding out the wrinkles and smoothing them out a little bit. So whether that's some of your defensive rotations, you know, whether it's some of your offensive rotations when it comes to using the relay to get that inside look, you know, and again, like the ability for other teams to stop what you're doing is going to be equal. So first play of the game, Mitch Creek gets to the rim on an isolation scoring look. That's a great start for him in terms of establishing the type of isolation scores that we talked about. Who's going to be that guy that can be given the ball and kind of seek out the individual matchup? So it's great to see him get to the rim, and now he's going to the free throw line after that last play. So there's some good things from that perspective.
Creek returning to the free throw line, that calming presence that you can imagine in those close game scenarios. A veteran, right around 33 years of age, recently announced his re-signing with the Bandits, who's a key part of that championship run. Hits his first of 2 free throws. And this year, again, a few younger pieces. Your Tyrese Samuels coming in, a few of those veterans coming in as well. Mike Nuga, not a lot of time to learn on the fly. Mitch Creek going to be so crucial.
You know, Coach Lou said that at the halftime, you know, having young coachable guys, they can go so far in the span of 20, 24 games a season, and hopefully you're playing all the way through to the end. We've got some goaltending hanging onto the rim there. It's going to count that basket. And again, CBL rules in terms of how you can play the ball. You can play it off the rim, you know. So it's just little intricacies you can see here. Going once, going twice, and we'll take the basket.
Bogle and Gill both fighting for that one with Tyrese Samuel. All of a sudden, it's a 15-point game. The Warriors threatening as Brockington takes some contact. No call, and here comes Tour. The Warriors, this is the time to make their push. Seacon out to Gill. It's back iron. Gill from the top of the arc, doesn't go. Jazz with the rebound. Quick swing to Creek. Brockington right to the cup, lefty finish, little power hop to create some space. I have a feeling we're going to see that all season long. Isaiah Brockington driving right to the rack.
Being able to establish what kind of space do they need to create the scoring looks that they have in their toolkit. So it's great to see the guys giving him room to get to that scoring look. Mitch Creek, cuts to the corner. He finds the rim. It's just really good signs of good off-ball movement. And, if you're a younger player watching the game, sometimes it is the stat sheets, but oftentimes is what you do in between stats. And so Coach Julius is looking for all of those little things. Who moves well off the ball? Who finds the space? Right now we see the stagger screen on the off-ball side to get Mangus, and he doesn't get that shot, but those are the little types of actions that they're going to see. Is that going to be a great way to get him open scoring threes when teams start figuring out who can do what on this roster?
Brockington, 4 seconds to work with. Here's Creek. Might have been tipped by Cowan. Board goes back to the Warriors. Narwhal into the chest of Creek. Great defense there. That's going to be last touched by the Warriors. Another turnover forced by the Bandits. Less than 8 minutes left in the final quarter. The only preseason game the Bandits are going to play. They had that school day game against some U Sports stars from Trinity, as well as UFV, as Creek's going to head back to the free throw line. So I guess you could call it 2 preseason games technically. But again, not a lot of time before they hit the road for Saskatchewan in that season opener this upcoming week, Cheryl.
Well, it's relative, and we talked about this. Are they a longer team? Are they a stronger shooting team? It is relative to what the rest of the league is going to look like as well. So, if we look at it, the CEBL season is starting. It's just around the corner. This has been the one preseason game that's been, available for fans to watch. And so it's not like the other teams have played 10, 15 games and the Vancouver Bandits are just figuring things out this week. So everyone's kind of starting from the same point. All the rosters are getting pro guys from other leagues waiting around for key players. We look at this version of the Bandits right now. The team could look dramatically different in the next week or two. We haven't talked about Dwayne Notice, but obviously a big part of who they are, heart and soul type of player, not dressed today. You've got some younger guys that we have yet to see as well. So there's just a lot of little things. You go with who you've got, and that's one thing that Coach Julius has had to figure out here in the CEBL. Who do we have today? What does that look like? How do we make that work? But no excuses. The goal is still to win.
Narwhal, late clock heave. Didn't get it off in time. He wants to talk it over. He thought he did. We should mention, for those who are just itching like we were for CEBL Hoops to return, tomorrow is going to be opening day of the regular season. It's the Calgary Surge versus the Edmonton Stingers. Battle of Alberta at the Edmonton Expo Center as Creek dives to the lane, gets that layup to go. You want to tune into that one. Much like you see Battles of Ontario, that BC-Alberta rivalry, but it doesn't get much better than Calgary-Edmonton, Cheryl.
Whether it's hockey, whether it's football, whether now it's CEBL basketball, those two cities love to hate each other. So it's always fun to start the regular season with some animosity. And you know what? A lot of those guys are from those cities too, which is why it's so exciting.
Here's Tour to inbound. Over to Bajwa, deep tray. Stays with the Warriors. Bazzi working around the screen. Bajwa, another three-point try. That one rattles around and goes through. Jazz Bajwa from the land beyond.
They were able to give themselves a few options there. Some great second, third chance points. Basket's going to count there on the and one.
Mike Nuga's going to go to the line, blowing his way to the rim for an and one opportunity. And for the Bandits, they're going to open their 2025 home slate in a finals rematch as they welcome the Niagara River Lions to the LEC on May 22nd. Tickets are available now, and tip-off is at 7 p.m. You're going to hear from Cheryl Jean-Paul, Chris Wiggins, going to be joined also by James Sabalski for the call of that one. Then the Bandits, they'll be in action this upcoming week as they open their regular season from the SaskTel Center as they battle the Saskatchewan Rattlers at 7:30 p.m. Central, 6:30 Pacific on Thursday, May 15th. And I'm glad it's so close, Cheryl. Every week, CEBL Hoops, whether you're watching on mobile, you're watching at home, it's all about to start. 24 games for the first time. Fans can't miss a beat.
Well, one of the things that makes this league special is just the fact that, every year the rosters, there is some turnover, but the fans become so loyal so very quickly to their home team. So starting on the road is a tough way to go. That's why this preseason game at home is probably such a great fit for the Bandits right now, because to go into the Rattlers' den, where do they start from? They start from 0-0. And that's what a lot of coaches will tell their players at the beginning of the season. Everything starts at 0-0. We don't start at 16-4. We don't start, 2 points lost in a finals game. We start at 0-0, and, we can dictate kind of the way things are going to end for us. So, it's a 20-point lead right now. We're getting very close to the end of the regulation, the way that the CEBL plays it. So I know we're going to talk about that in a second as Nuga here goes to the free throw line to knock down this one, which he does not.
In that opener versus the Rattlers, it's going to be a new look for Saskatchewan. New head coach, Eric Magdan's taken over. He's been a long-time assistant. Again, you talked about the growth of players in this league. It's the officials, it's the stats keepers, it's the assistant coaches. So well-known local, as Bit Gill can't hit that, but the professional coaching debut for Eric Magdan's.
Well, I know Saskatchewan is very excited to have an all-Saskatchewan coaching staff, which, again, goes so far for the development of every aspect of the game when it comes to the local cities and towns, that these teams are being cheered for by different universities, represented, coaching staff, like you mentioned. We've got a little bit of everything here. So it's exciting to see. We talked about the officials as well. At the very beginning, mentioned them, but for them to get professional experience only helps the game grow in whether it's U Sport, Pac West, wherever they're going, FIBA, internationally. Everyone's goal is to get to that next level, and so it's really exciting when the CEBL is a part of those journeys.
Brockington steps out of bounds, trying to go for that offensive board. We hear beside us Kyle Julius clapping on that possession. The looks haven't always been there tonight. That field goal percentage a little bit south of 50%, fluttering around that 1 for 2 mark. But the looks have been nice, and the ball movement starting to come together. Here's Bajwa. Checked by Brockington over to Gill. Right to the rim on Grant. Shepard takes contact in the harm. Big Gill absorbing it, and he's going to head to the line for the N1 opportunity.
The one thing, if you're the Warriors, that you like about this look is that, he's had some really good looks from the three-point line, hasn't knocked down some of those, going back inside, kind of likes the matchup. Grant Shepard not able to defend that sequence, and, Kyle Julius finding a way to talk to his big man. Those are the things that Grant Shepard needs to happen. We know James Karnick is on the way, but this is a great opportunity for Shepard to establish himself as that other guy, that other big man who can get the job done defensively, and so those are type of the defensive stops that he's going to need.
Standing 6'10", tries to return it on Gill. Gill up to the task. As we're getting close to that 4-minute mark, target time right around the corner. Bassi. And there's the reach by Nugan Bassi. Looks like it's actually going to go against Mitch Creek. That's going to initiate target score time. And you know what? 91-76. Bandits up 15. We'll see you on the other side. And there'll be +9 added to the score. You don't want to go anywhere. This is the most thrilling part of CEBL Hoops. You're watching CEBL Basketball live on YouTube and CEBL Plus, powered by TonyBet.
Did you know that every CEBL game ends on a game-winning bucket? Yep, every single one. That's because we use something called target score ending, a thrilling twist that keeps fans locked in till the final shot. So what is the target score ending? Here's how it works. The first time the clock stops with 4 minutes or less left in the fourth quarter, the game clock is turned off. we enter target score time. We take the leading team score, add 9 points, and that becomes the target score. Let's say it's 91 to 80. That means the first team to hit 100 wins. No ticking clock, no intentional fouls, just pure clutch basketball. It's fast, it's electric, and it guarantees that every game ends with a bang. Experience the target score ending this CEBL season. And don't forget, you can watch every game-winning bucket live for free on CEBL Plus.
Here inside Langley Event Center, closing minutes of action. The target score is set for 100. That's the number the Bandits have to get to. And multiple scores here today contributing. We've seen the high-flying antics of Tyrese Samuel. We've seen the timely baskets of Mitch Creek. And for the Warriors, it's going to take everything they have and more, not just to overcome the current 15-point deficit, but they don't have to worry about the time. They just got to score in bunches.
Well, target score, top scoring team at the time. They add 9 points, and that's now whoever gets to 100 first. So if you're the Warriors, you're probably telling yourself, we've had the looks that we've needed to close this. We just need to finish. Great way to start any quarter. Comes out of the timeout, attacks the rim. One score, one stop if you're the Warriors. If you're the Bandits, again, talk about the philosophy of target score is that you don't have to do it all in one play. You just have to chip away and get the job done. And getting to the free throw line, you know, in this situation, not sure if we're shooting yet. No, I say it's on the baseline entry here. So a lot of teams have struggled with the philosophies. We know the Sea Bears have brought in Elam himself this year as a chief strategist to see what type of decisions do coaches and can coaches make to be more successful in this little stretch of time. A lot of math, a lot of calculations has gone into this, and it's created such a great environment because fans are always going to see a game-winning basket. So
tough look. Isaiah Brockington doesn't go. Good start to target score time for the Warriors. Bassi now up to 14 points, and here's Tour. Bajwa has a 3 to his name. Gill's got the post up. He's on the ground, has to move with it. That's a tough catch. Not kept alive by Sikh. Errant pass and a turnover for the Warriors.
So right now with the Bandits, they've been getting some good looks off the pick and roll, off of ball movement, finding the scoring looks. Right now, as you can tell, the clock is not broken. They just turn the actual time off, and then they go to the score from that point. So, you know, 2 turnovers so far, 2 possessions. That's not exactly what they're looking for target time scoring type of looks, because every little moment that you provide for your opponent is an opportunity for them to get to the free throw line. So, again, 3-on-2 type of situation there. Mangus gives up the ball. Brockington gets to the free throw line. But it's the turnovers that I'm sure Coach Julius is going to talk about in terms of having to play even a little bit more perfect basketball. Despite the lead, you don't want to let your opponent slip into a sudden all-looking, now we're a single-digit lead. You know, so
in CBL history, there have been a few big target score comebacks as Brockington hits that first free throw. Even though you have a double-digit lead, that deficit has been overcome, not just once, but multiple times. It's one of the most thrilling aspects of this league. And you know what? It elevates the gamesmanship because you know what? There's no more intentional fouling. That clock management aspect disappears. You have to earn that victory.
You know, pros and cons of some of the things that players will talk about is that, you know, traditionally if you're watching an NCAA game or something like that, you know who's going to come onto the floor if a team is up by 25 the last 2 or 3 minutes. And so sometimes your younger players do get that time. But the nice things for the fans that you get to see your favorite players play the entire game. And there go the Flames again for Tyrese. Like I said, he's the man who's going to be lighting the fire at the rim. And so that's a great way of helping them understand we have to play sharp and we have to be tight all the way through to the very last basket.
Warriors want to talk it over. Head coach Sukhveer Singh calling a timeout as we see the highlight pass here. Up high and down hard to Tyrese Samuel. Looks like a volunteer firefighter tonight. He set those things off a few times. Bit of a pyro show here at LEC.
You know, last year, first year broadcasting with the Bandits for me, and we met the pyro team, and that guy's finger was getting a little bit tough pushing that button over and over again. So Tyree Samuel is going to force him to have to maybe get physiotherapy on that finger. So it's going to be an exciting time to see, you know, Tyree Samuels, can he get the fans up on their feet? And so far tonight, we have not been disappointed.
Fans having a great time, whether you're sitting courtside or you're in the bowl. We hope you come back and join us on May 22nd for the home opener. Vancouver Bandits up 17 right now, just 5 points away from sealing the deal on this one. 100 points is your target score for the Warriors, looking for the miraculous upset.
You know, if you're the Warriors right now, post-game, the conversation might be about missed opportunities, some really wide-open threes. You know, we talked about that stretch of missed free throws. 7 for 15 from the free throw line for the Sikh Warriors is not necessarily the statement that you wanted to make today, but improved three-point shooting into the second half, so you know that you were able to knock down 6 threes in the second half. They might need a few more here if they still have a chance to kind of close this gap a little bit and finish this game well.
On the floor for the Warriors, AJ Bassi, Vic Tour, Jordan Seacon, Big Gill, and Jazz Bajwa. They have the shooting. Do they have the heroism? Bajwa. Head full of steam, trying to create space. That's a nice finger roll off front rim. Samuel. That pass deflected. Here's Tour. Couple bodies hitting the deck. Possession's going to stay with the Warriors.
You know, Tyrese Samuel, there's going to be certain times where Coach Julius is going to let him figure things out, and so obviously he's trying to be a playmaker from the three-point line. Being a ball handler is not just about dribbling the basketball, to making good decisions with the ball in your hands, and so that's something that we're going to see the evolution of Tyrese Samuel throughout the entire regular season this year. Can he get better at some of those little things? You know, 3 turnovers so far in this target time for the Bandits, something that they probably want to move away from, but they've got to learn one way or another.
Almost a soft touch there for Samuel. Playing some FIBA rules, and he says, you know what? I'll take 2 points and I'll take a few boards as well, playing the ball above the rim. All smiles for the young man out of Montreal, 24 years of age. Here's Bassi. Seacon over to Tour. Bassi, 2 seconds to work. Gill has to hoist it up. Doesn't go. A 3 will win it. A 2 will inch the Bandits closer. Here's Brockington. Takes contact. That's an and one. Has a chance to close this one out at the free throw line. Isaiah Brockington looking like a runaway train.
You know, great scoring look there. And again, previous possession slowed things down a little bit. It's great to see him show that burst of speed. Kyle Julius has a few guys on his team that he loves their speed. You know, and Isaiah Brockington, let's see what he can do with this. And obviously a free throw is a great way to finish a game. Maybe not a highlight dunk, but sometimes you just got to take the win.
And there you have it, folks. The century mark is all it takes for the Bandits to win this one, 100-78. Leading scorer for the Bandits is going to be Mitch Creek. Leading scorer for the Sikh Warriors is Vic Tour. So much to enjoy here tonight, Cheryl. Little offense, couple highlights, and a great first attendance here at Langley Event Center from the fan base.
Well, you know what? The preseason game allows the fans to realize I have to put these games in my schedule. So great way to spend your weekend. We've got some Thursday games, some Friday games, some Saturday games, some Sunday games. So regardless of the kind of schedule that you have, you know, we'd love to see our fans, CBL fans. We know that we've got people from all over the place watching these games, so it's really exciting to start learning how to just enjoy this league.
As we see the handshake line, great preseason action. You know what? I hope this becomes a regularity. What a thrill for us here in the community to see some players that have grown up going to local high schools playing for the Sikh Warriors. And again, for the Bandits, that Canadian angle to the CEBL, developing the talent stream But if that preseason kind of format where we see this across the league, it'll just enrich the talent pool that much more.
Well, you know, for the Sikh Warriors, again, when they have to travel to play in Seattle or whether they're all over the States in different, you know, basketball tournament, for them to play at home is just as special. Obviously, they've played in tournaments here. You know, Indo Hoops was just last weekend. So, you know, these guys are gamers, and so it's great for them to be able to play, you know, for their community, to celebrate them. And when I say community, their Punjabi community, but also their local high school community, their basketball community. So just really, yeah, this would be a great way of doing things. University athletes getting their chance 2 days ago, and now a great program has another shot at it.
And a big shout out to your Winnipeg comrade, head coach Sukhbir Singh. Thought he called a great game for the Warriors. The looks weren't always dropping, but you know what? They challenged the Bandits here. I think there's a tempo to this game that might not have been present at that school day game, and heading into that season opener on the 15th, I think today was much needed. But for now, we're going to send it over to Chris Wiggins. He has our player of the game tonight, presented by Booster Juice. Chris, take it away with Mitch Creek.
24 points, 6 boards, 3 dimes in your second preseason game of the season. Welcome back to BC, by the way. Nice to have you back. What did you see out there tonight?
A little slow start. We've got to get our pre-game routine right. You know, it's early in the season. You know, we're trying to get our feet under us, trying to get guys in shape. But we came out a little slow. We probably didn't expect the intensity for them to make tough shots around the ring. They did a great job. They're well coached. It was a great hit out today for us, but I think we can be a little tougher and a little smarter. I think if we clean that up, it's going to be a big shift in our defensive prowess.
You were on the radar for a number of teams across the league. What is it about Vancouver that keeps you coming back?
I mean, first things first, my partner's from here, so that's a big draw. But look, I fell in love with Vancouver because Kyle, Dylan, the organization as a whole, they developed me so much so that I was like, I would come back and play for free. Like, I told them I'd be here early if I could. I had to get rehab. I had to get my mental health and physical health right. And I work with John, the team, Tyrell, everybody. And this is a full circle organization. There is no other organization like this. And it's an easy decision. So, look, if you come and play for this organization, T-Jazz is a testament as well. He's come in, a YouTuber, now he's a pro bowler, and it's great to see.
What's he been like for your group so far? I mean, the fan, it speaks for itself with all the fans here. What's he been like?
He's great. He's a very humble young man. He's got his friendship group from when he was a young child as well, and that's his crew. You know, he doesn't have people that are hanger-oners or yes men. He's got people that are real to him, and he's got leaders on this team. He's got great energy. He can play the game. He's got great feel, and he wants to learn. You know, it's sometimes it feels like it's, you know, keeping up with the Kardashians because there's cameras everywhere. But look, you know, you tune it out. He's a professional. Love having him on this roster, and hopefully this is just the first step in his professional career.
Well, you look great, and good luck on Thursday in Saskatchewan.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks,
all right. Season 7, Mitch Creek back again with the Vancouver Bandits. Our Booster Juice player of the game tonight, 24 points, 6 boards, and 3 dimes as we send it back to you.
Thanks so much, Chris. You know what, Cheryl? Just hearing Mitch Creek talk, that's the voice of a leader right there. He brought them to within 2 points of a championship. And he talks about working on his mental health, his physical health, and you talk about some of the youth on this team. As he imparts his lessons on a leader, that's going to be so crucial for this 24-game CBL season.
Well, if you look at what he brought to the team just in the short time that he was here last season, it's that maturity of knowing what it takes to win. And you look at the ability to get to that finals game, and I'm sure that his contribution was part of that. So now it's a little bit of a different role because he's not necessarily teaching guys how to play basketball. It's how to do the pro game well. And so for these younger players to have a teammate like them this young in their journey, they are going to be so much better pros because of that. So T-Jazz, for instance, has a guy like Mitch Creek to say this is how to get it done. You know, and the fact that these young players are coachable and they're taking these lessons, it's such a great environment for the CEBL to see young players coming in. And with the Mitch Creek does not need to be here from the sense of his ability to have played pro all over the world. The fact that he keeps coming back to the CEBL, there's something special here that he sees. So our league for sure benefits from players like him that understand the value of being not just in Vancouver, but in the CEBL in general.
Vancouver, a destination of choice for the return of the re-signed Mitch Creek, your Booster Juice player of the game. You're going to have to wait until Thursday, May 15th for the Bandits season opener on the road in Saskatchewan. But if you love today's matchup, join us again tomorrow because it's going to be CEBL Season 7 regular season tipping off, and that's going to begin with the Battle of Alberta at the Edmonton Expo Center tomorrow night as the Edmonton Stingers take on their provincial rivals, the Calgary Surge. Tip-off is scheduled for 4 p.m. Mountain, 3 p.m. Pacific, live on Game Plus, TSN Plus, and CBL Plus, presented by Tony Bet. You know what, Cheryl? Closing thoughts tonight. Bandits about to hit the road, facing Saskatchewan. They'll have a bit of a break before Niagara. First impressions of this group before we hit the break.
Well, the action, the play, finding the big man, the assists is something that really stands out to me. You're looking at 24 assists on 100 points. They have some things to work out, the type of shots that they want to take and the defensive rotations, all of those things are going to come, but the chemistry is there. And obviously Mitch Creek talked about the small details. They have to get their warm-up better. They have to get, and right off the hop, he's going with a bunch of young guys on the road. I'm sure they're going to learn some life lessons there. So for him to influence that part, Kyle Julius trusts him to help what they do on court and off court. So some really good things from some young players, and we get to see them grow. That's what the CEBL does such a great job of. We've seen some of them grow throughout their collegiate careers, and now we get to see the beginning, the blossoming of their pro careers.
A great season of CBL hoops in our midst. It's all starting tomorrow. Tonight's broadcast has been a great one. Thank you so much for joining us. For the entire crew here, I'm Andrew Savory alongside Cheryl Jean-Paul, Chris Wiggins. Thank you to the entire crew. This has been a production of CBL Basketball Live on YouTube and CBL Plus, powered by Tony Bet. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much.